Yo, what is up, everybody? I've got an interesting topic today because it's not really a normal top five list, even though there are five players on my list. But these are guys that I kind of think the NFL world is making a mistake on. I see people slowly rating them lower and lower and lower, and I don't understand why. Starting off with number five, it's Will Levis. Look, people are acting like he's not one of the best quarterbacks in this class. And I get it, he's a project, but project QBs get taken all the time. Just because he looks similar to Zach Wilson doesn't mean he's Zach Wilson. They're actually very different prospects. But I personally, and a lot of other people would agree, that I have him rated higher than Anthony Richardson. He has that athleticism, but he also shows the flashes of everything else. The main concern people have with him is his turnovers, but you have to look at context for a lot of those. A lot of them are drop passes, batted balls, and things like that. But I'm not convinced he will fall in the draft. I doubt he makes it past the Raiders at 7. In fact, I think there's a decent chance they would trade up for him because I think he's a good scheme fit for them, but I don't think he deserves to fall in the draft. Moving on to number 4, Joey Porter. Now, as the Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon hypes keep going up and up and up, and it's well deserved. It seems like Joey Porter's hype is like fizzling down. I don't know why. He's my number one graded corner. He's right there with Devin Witherspoon, to be fair, but I think he's a borderline top 10 player in this draft. And I mean, now he's viewed as like a player who's going to be going in the 20s as the CB3. I don't think that's fair. I think he deserves more credit. Though I would agree he's probably not going to be the first corner taken because he doesn't have the traits of Gonzalez or the pure ability to mirror receivers in coverage that Devin Witherspoon has. He has basically everything you want, and I think he's flying under the radar for no reason. Next two are a couple of receivers, starting off with Quentin Johnston. I mean, he was a little disappointing at the combine, but he's still a ridiculous athlete. If you look at his RAS score, I believe it's 9.5 or 9.6 out of 10, and that was underwhelming. He's 6'2 and a half, which most people would call 6'3, but we'll say 6'2 and a half. He has 4.4 speed, and every other athletic thing was really solid. Yes, he catches the ball with his body too often. Yes, he happens to be a monster after the catch. He can make contested catches. Do he can do things a lot of big receivers cannot do. And I think a lot of people have JSN over him and Jordan Addison, and I just simply don't agree. Moving on to number 2, obviously, is Jordan Addison. And Addison, I have him as a top 10 player, number 1 receiver. I think he's a great player. I think people see his size and they're immediately turned off to it. But, he's fast, he's quick, he runs really good routes, he has really reliable hands. He's not a contested catch guy, but he can make tough catches. He does basically everything you want, except he's a little skinny. Look at Devontae Smith. He was still the 11th overall pick. I don't know why people are so low on Jordan Addison. He's a really good player. And I think there's a solid chance he still goes fairly high in the draft, but obviously I'm hoping Green Bay drafts him, but I'm fairly certain they won't because of his size. And there are several other teams that will just be turned off to prospects due to their size, and I think that's a mistake. I mean, going back to Devontae Smith, he's had significant success, especially this past year. And I think teams need to learn from that and be willing to take shots at those skinnier receivers. Moving on to number 1, and really the main reason I'm making this video, Myles Murphy. I mean, first off, let me say this. If the NFL world is underrating Myles Murphy so much that he falls to the Packers at 15, then go ahead, keep doing it. But if not, this dude is a legitimate top 5, top 3 talent in this class. He's an elite edge rusher. He's not Will Anderson, but he's close. And I have him above Tyree Wilson still. He's one of the best run defenders I've ever seen. And on top of that, he's he's a little inconsistent as a pass rusher, but he's still good. You know, he's beating offensive linemen one-on-one most of the time. He's athletic, he has high motor, he has literally everything you want, and he's being projected to fall out of the top 5, top 10, top 15. I don't get it. Even top 20 in some cases. I'm not sure how high he's going to go in the draft because it's so hard to predict what teams are going to do. But I'm just going to say with fair confidence, if he goes outside of the top 5, teams are going to regret it. And I say that knowing fairly well that he's not going to go inside the top 5. You know, there's a solid chance a team trades with Arizona and 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5, and the 5th is Will Anderson, or Arizona takes Will Anderson, Seattle takes Tyree Wilson, and those are all great players, but Myles Murphy is getting underrated to a point that I don't like. Maybe because I think there's a solid chance the Bears pick him at 9, and that would be great value for them, and then we'd have to play against him 2 times a year. But anyways, these guys are all flying under the radar for no reason. So I just want to make a video about them. Like and subscribe.